nothing but disingenuous behavior. Not just, you can feel every single way he engages in this conversation. It's how can I dishonestly move this conversation forward to make Anthony Weiner look bad, which again, it's pretty embarrassing that it's a difficult task for him to achieve that. I wanted to watch this Anthony Weiner interview. So some of you might be confused why we're watching an Anthony Weiner interview, but Anthony Weiner, for those of you who don't know, is a disgraced American politician who was disgraced after he had inappropriate messages with an underage girl, being his second time he engaged with minors in an inappropriate manner while cheating on his significant other. The first time wounded his political career, the second time killed his political career. And ever since then, ever since he posted that bulge to these underage people, he's not been in the political scene. Strangely, all of a sudden, and he was like a rising star, so it was a big shock when it happened. Strangely, he's out doing interviews again with Anthony Weiner on the PBD podcast, which I've watched their show in the past. Not a gigantic fan, but on the PBD podcast to talk about Hillary Clinton, and somehow, because I've already watched a lot of this, somehow the PBD podcast walks away from this interview having made Anthony Weiner look good and themselves look bad relative to this interview when they're talking to somebody as disgraced as Anthony Weiner. I don't know how they do it, but they do achieve it with the type of dishonest interview tactics that this guy engages in. And I have to say that in defense of fucking Anthony Weiner, how did they even produce that outcome? That they can make Anthony Weiner look bad relative to their behavior and treatment towards him, and how they were very dishonest in how they asked the questions. Well, let's watch and we'll find out as they talk about the Clinton kill list. And, you know, I think he kind of treats it as if he's asking the questions the mainstream media don't ask. But the problem with this report is sometimes the mainstream media doesn't ask these questions is because the questions not are too controversial to be asked, but are just stupid. Let's watch.
You were very eloquent on the way you defended Hillary Clinton, on who she was when it comes down to politics. Are you still close to that family?
I'm not.
Okay. So who do you think between the two was a better politician? You think Bill's the better politician? Do you think Hillary's the better politician?
I don't think Hillary was a particularly good politician.
Okay, so she's a better strategist, you would say. She's more strategic, power.
She is a classic blooming where she's potted kind of public official.
Yeah.
Everything that she has been given to do. I watched her, you know, as a rookie elected official come into New York and become an amazing senator.
By the way, can I just say, attempting to procreate while your last name is Weiner, knowing that your child would have to take on that name, I think that should be considered highly abusive. Let's continue.
I watched her at Secretary of State be like, just, she blooms where she's potted. She knows government well. She's smart as a very, very smart person.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that it's hard. I think it was hard for her to get her sea legs, being the first woman candidate of a major party. I think it was hard for her to get her sea legs in the framing of Bill Clinton's wife. I think it was a lot of things were.
She's also a bad candidate. Didn't campaign in a lot of the states that she should have. Definitely when it comes to the Rust Belt. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why she didn't do well, but I don't think they're going to relitigate the whole thing.
The challenge she faced that you and I would not face on the campaign.
Do you think she's a good person?
I do.
Okay. So, you know, when we, you know, announced the fact that we're interviewing you, we kind of crowdsourced with the audience what questions do you want to ask, and in our research.
What's going on in the PBD comment section?
Will go and say, hey, is there any credibility to this or not? And then we don't waste our time. So, hey, we're having Anthony Weiner on. Great. So you have to ask him about Frazzle Drip. Go look it up. Oh, this video is a deep.
Frazzle Drip is a conspiracy that Hillary Clinton and one of her staffers engaged in the murder and I'm trying to avoid getting demonetized. Murder and rape. We're just gonna say that for YouTube reasons. I hate that I have to do stuff on YouTube of children, and did it on video, and that people had watched the video and that it was so bad that they killed themselves. And now there's no evidence of the video because all the people killed themselves. It's just sounds like a bad like Sonic.exe like creepypasta. It's complete nonsense. I don't even know why he's bringing it up.
Fake, not any credibility to it on what happened with Hillary Clinton, Huma, and all this stuff. Nope, we're not going to ask him about that because I don't yet see a real source. A lot of it was stuff that, conspiracy, all this stuff that's being said. We're not going there. Yeah, you need to ask him about Pizzagate because that's
I mean, I think everybody knows what Pizzagate is. The same style of frazzle drip.
exactly what's going on with kids. Yeah, no, we're not going there. That's not something we're going to be asking him about. Yeah, you need to ask him about this, and you need to ask him about this. I said, okay. All of these things that they said we have to ask you about. To be fair, it's Bill Clinton officiated your wedding with Huma, your wife, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So you've been very close, and your wife, is it still wife or is it ex-wife? I think it's separated since 2017, right?
We're separated. We co-parent Jordan, but we're separated.
Okay. And, she was a right-hand person to Hillary Clinton in 2016 while the scandal was taking place.
For years before that, she was with Hillary for, she's 20 years.
And the whole thing with the life insurance, the email, 650,000, one folder with the word life insurance and the files that are in there. So the next thing that people said you got to ask him is the following. So, hey, Rob, if you can pull up this story, I'm not going to buy into this one. Well, 9 out of 12 cops, NYPD, who saw the email and saw what was in that laptop, committed suicide. And it was, 7 of them since June, and it was the most ever that this took place. And these are the men that committed suicide. So then we went and looked it up, and we're like, no, they did commit suicide.
Is he just gonna run through every single nonsense conspiracy theory around Hillary before getting to the actual question? Okay.
Right, but it wasn't linked to.
I've already watched this, right? But I'm still. I've already pre-watched this, right? In prep. But man, this every second of this podcast, man, I could not imagine running a show like this.
Directly to seeing the laptop or the intel there, no problem. So again, no credibility there. So there's no reason to ask you the question about the 9 out of 12 cops that saw.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if I did this with any other politician? If I was with Zelensky and I was a lot of people asked me to ask you about your cocaine habit, you just snorting all the blow. But I looked into it, there was nothing to it. And then I was also told to look into this theory about you working with the Zionists, but we looked into it and it's all not. It's just okay. Let's get to the question. Get to the question. I think he's trying to send a signal to the audience, hey, I heard your question, but maybe they don't deserve a shout out because they're stupid and they want to learn about frazzle drip.
So there's no reason to ask you the question about the 9 out of 12 cops that saw it in NYPD.
You shouldn't even be listing them and giving it oxygen.
No, my job is to listen because I like to read.
No, list them. You shouldn't be listing these things.
Well,
these things
it is what it is.
Destructive. People have actually had violence done over these things.
These are conspiracy theories that
all
some
that have
people,
books about them, though.
Right.
I wouldn't
but the one
recommend
thing that we did look up that wasn't a conspiracy theory was the following. And this is the one that's kind of weird. And first thing I ask myself is, how the hell is our guy here, Anthony Weiner, still alive? What do you mean by that? Well, when you go through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons and the Deadpool, this is not a conspiracy. You got the names of James McDougal, okay, Clinton's convicted Whitewater partner, died of an apparent heart attack. Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown.
Ron Brown, he died in a plane crash.
Vince Foster Vince Foster was the next one. By the way, the James Dougal was a key witness in a key Ken Starr investigation.
Ron Brown was in a plane crash. Why is he on the list?
Ron Brown is another one, but there was a close person to this. Victor Razor. You got Paul Tooley, Ed Woolley.
Wait a minute. You're reading a list of people that Bill and Hillary Clinton knew. They're 80. They're 70-something years old.
I'm asking you this question. I'm asking you this question and an answer at the end. So you got Jerry Parks, Jane Bunch, James.
See, what he's doing, and I hate to spoil this, right? I'm not really spoiling it, though. You can see it a mile away. He just has a big list of people who have vaguely known Hillary or Bill Clinton, and they're over 55 years of public service and who have died from when they started, when they were young, all the way until recently. Now that they're up in their 70s. Yeah, a lot of people are going to die in them. A lot of them are going to be ex-military. A lot of them are going to be old when they started because they started when they were quite young. Many of them are going to be their colleagues who are dying because they're getting up into the age of 70. Some people are just going to die naturally as they go throughout life. People don't realize how many, like, individuals you bump shoulders with and have to shake hands with when you're a public official every day. Meetings after meetings after meetings. Campaign stops, speeches, committee meetings, campaign meetings, like local meetings with local constituents. Like, there's so much just interacting and constant communication in the role that the idea that at the end of over 50 years of service, including service in the Foreign Service as Secretary of State, working as Secretary of State, we're going to be talking to foreign leaders as well, who again are also going to be old, that you can build a list of these many people who have died. And as Anthony Weiner is pointing out, these people on this list that there's been clear evidence demonstrated as to how they died in a plane crash, right? How they died in other ways, but because they were within the proximity of Hillary Clinton in some manner and they died, now it's connected to the theory. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You could do this with any politician. You could do this with Strom Thurmond as he got up in age. You could do this with LBJ. You could do this probably right now with Joe Biden. You could do this with Mitch McConnell. You could do this with any major political politician who has stayed in the realm of public service for more than like 20, 25 years.
Wilson, Kathy Ferguson, Bill Shelton, Candy Bow, Florence Martin, Susan Coleman, Paula Grober, Danny.
Actually, would Strom Thurmond also be included on this list because he died? I mean, I believe he died of a heart attack or heart failure of some sort, right? I believe he died in like in the mid 2000s, but apparently maybe it was another Hillary Clinton hit.
Casolero, Paula Wilker.
To be clear, like, we could include, like, if tomorrow Dianne Feinstein croaked for whatever reason, she could be realistically added to this list. That's how flimsy this list is.
John
I don't know any of these
Parnell
names.
Walker, Barbara Weiss. We should verify this yourself because you're running a radio show. You should look it up.
I don't know any of these names.
Why would he know any of this? You're running a radio show. You should look it up. Why should he have to know any of this information? These are just random people that Hillary Clinton knew before she died.
Stanley Hurd, Barry Beal, Barry Seal, Johnny Lawhorn,
Can you read me the
Stanley
URL you're reading?
Higgins,
Can you read me the URL
Herschel,
you're reading?
We'll send you the most credible source you can look it up.
Let your listeners know what you're reading.
It's great him asking the URL, by the way, because if it's just like URL www.thetruthisouthere.com, you know, it's gonna be pretty silly. Like, I wonder what the resource on this is.
Link below. We'll put the link below.
Just tell me so I know what I'm
Herschel
responding
Friday,
to.
Kevin Ivey, Dan Henry, Keith.
This is why he wants to go through the whole thing, by the way, because if he names so many names together, it's like, oh, that's suspicious. But you could do this with every single major politician. That's why Weiner doesn't want Weiner. That's why Weiner doesn't want him to finish with this, because he knows what he's doing, what he's doing disingenuous. And I think he knows, PBB knows what he's doing is disingenuous. So he's not allowing him to be like, look at that guy. That guy right there, he died this way. That guy died that way. Why is he on this list?
Coney. And these were part of the Ivy Henry case. Keith McCaskill.
What's the Ivy Henry?
He's trying to get all this information out there before it can be challenged. So, like, once you've put out 58 names and you don't go name by name by name, well, then you're allowing a lot of just like, oh, it was 58 people without like breaking down the specifics or looking at any of the details.
And these were part of the Ivy Henry case. Keith McCaskill.
What's the Ivy Henry case?
You can look it up. Ivy Henry case. So Gregory Collins, Jeff Rhodes, James Milland, Richard Winter, and then you got the close bodyguards, Major William Barkley, Captain Scott Reynolds, Brian Hanley, Tim Sable, General William Robertson.
You don't even know what you're reading a list of. How is this helpful?
Robert Kelly, Colonel Gary Rhodes, Steve Wills, Robert Williams, Conway LeBlue, Todd McKeon. I'm done. It's 46 names. And
of what? Can you read me the list? Can you read me the URL so I know what you read a list of before I answer any questions about it?
When I finish this, stillinthestorm.com. You can
Stillinthestorm.com. Stillinthestorm.com. See. Let's see what type of amazing Okay, well. Never, I guess it's not that.
Look it up.
Still
So
in the storm.com.
you can
This
look
is
it
your
up.
big moment, guys.
Yeah, so you can go. And by the way,
Ads about chemtrails at the end of it.
He hasn't even asked the question yet. He's just reading the article.
He's reading.
Well, because his question's stupid. You don't you back him up on this disingenuous bullshit. This disingenuous bullshit. Like, what if I went on any show and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna list all the people you know ever who have had something some sexual misconduct done to them. Let me just read this out real quick. You know how disingenuous that is? It could have zero relation to you whatsoever.
He's reading a list of names.
So
He hasn't even asked the question. It's a list.
the fact that you're getting nervous is an answer.
It's not
okay?
nervous. This stuff
Let
makes me
wrap
sick
it.
when you repeat
Exactly. It
these
makes us sick as
ridiculous-
well. It also makes us
obviously
sick.
doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Fuck off. This is the moral grandstanding. It's very obvious what he's trying to do.
Obviously
Because the
doesn't.
establishment makes us
You start
sick.
the question by reading a list of well-founded
Your reaction is an answer.
conspiracy. I know these things make me sick, and people
Your
have gotten
reaction
killed.
is an
over it.
answer.
Someone went into a pizza.
His reaction, his answer. I acted like a fucking moron, and you're reacting angry to the fact that I'm a moron. Got him. Got him. How about I read another 10 names of people who died vaguely around Clinton? Random congressman who fell down his stairs and busted his skull open. Murder. Plane crash. Murder. Cancer. Murder. The evidence is stacking up, Mr. Weiner.
Pizza Parlor in
Yes.
Washington because they believe this shit, and you're
Your-
making an echo
Your
chamber. out of it.
reaction is an answer. So let me go to it here now.
No.
So-
No.
Your reaction
You're not
is
going
an
to read a list.
He's just gonna keep saying that over and over. Since you got angry at me being a fucking knuckle-dragging moron, that obviously proves that you're guilty.
Yeah, my reaction is my reaction.
Yeah,
Can you
exactly.
tell me what that list, in your view,
You
what-
haven't allowed me to finish. If you allow me to finish the
because you're
question,
reading 46
then you
random
can
names
do
off the internet
whatever you
of
want.
some fucking insane website.
I love your answer
and
because
these people who you don't even know who they are, you're reading them on a list of something, making some kind of as if it's somehow suspicious. You don't even know who these human beings are, who have families, who are like out there, and now
I'll spend the
you're
next
reading.
2 hours with you one by one, explain.
No, he won't. Of course he won't. He won't go name by name. That's a bluff. He should call him his bluff. Say, I will not continue with this podcast until we do that. That's what he should do.
Fine.
You should as individuals are if you want to do
Fine.
that.
How about you pick one? Pick one and tell me who he was and what his story was.
Tom.
No, not you. You were asking me the question. Pick one name
I
and
will
then tell me.
pull up Vince Foster if you want.
No,
Go-
Vince
go-
Foster, that suicide has been investigated 50 times. Pull
Yeah.
out one of the obscure names you pulled.
Yeah,
Why did you pull Ron Brown? Here, let me read Ron Brown. Ron Brown, a Commerce Secretary who a plane crashed while he was on a humanitarian mission, crashed into the side of a mountain. So what do you want to know about Ron Brown? What do you want to know about Ron Brown?
Can you let me ask the question?
No,
Oh, he doesn't want to get into specifics because once you get into specifics, it's gonna be like, well, you're right, actually, and there's no evidence whatsoever that shows Hillary Clinton tied to any of these murders or any of these deaths in any of these circumstances. Oh, you're right. He can't get one. He can't pick one. It sounds like he doesn't even know about the vast majority of these names. I bet if you went with this guy through these names, he wouldn't know at least half the names on the list.
listen, this is a
Can you-
conversation.
No.
We're having a conversation.
I'm sorry. I'm the host. You invite
Yeah.
me to your podcast. You get to ask the question. I'm the host.
Listen,
I want to ask you the question. You haven't let me answer the question.
I didn't see the
Your
roll call.
reaction is already an
I
answer.
know.
Oh
I am
my God.
infuriated
He's
by
gonna say it
people
for
I
the
drag
understand.
up
fourth, the fifth, the sixth. He's gonna say the same dumb line.
other
Why
people's
you would
name
be.
who are powerless. You're not powerless.
Hillary Clinton is
I'm not-
powerless?
No, these people.
Hillary Clinton is
These
powerless.
people.
That's the problem.
These people.
Hillary's the problem.
You read a
The
list of-
See, it's just nothing but disingenuous behavior. Not just you can feel every single way he engages in this conversation. It's how can I dishonestly move this conversation forward to make Anthony Weiner look bad? Which again, it's pretty embarrassing that it's a difficult task for him to achieve that, right? And it can't be because he wasn't referring to Hillary Clinton and he immediately clarifies he's not referring to Hillary Clinton, but he's still going, oh, Hillary Clinton's powerless, huh? No, the people who are dead are powerless because they're dead. They're literally without power. They can't defend their name. They can't say anything because they're dead.
of people because you have the
establishment
power to
people.
do it.
I don't-
People who do that are
I have
bullies,
the
and
power
I don't
to do-
appreciate bullies.
I have the power to do what?
You do. To read a
do
list
what?
of some
I have the power
stranger's
to
name.
use the DOJ and other things to control
That's
and hide
not
things?
DOJ.
Yeah.
DOJ
Let me-
didn't make this.
The DOJ hid this. Oh yeah, the powerful deep state can shut down Wikipedia, can shut down NBC News, can shut down everybody from covering the truth, but it can't stop Still, what is it? Stillinthestorm.com. URL unpurchased on GoDaddy. Like, or even if it's a different website, you just got the name wrong or whatever. They can stop the whole world and cover it up, the DOJ, but they can't stop these guys from what? Taking a collection of 46 people who are vaguely related to Hillary Clinton and saying they died. Isn't that suspicious?
Let me finish up my question.
Some jackass made a list in his basement.
You have the right to
You're reading their names as if they're incriminating in some way.
You have the right to
That's
answer.
bullying, and I don't appreciate. And I stand up against bullies.
Please do so.
He hasn't even asked the question yet,
He's reading a list and he's refused. And now he says, "Let's move on."
No.
Because I set your answer
Nobody
already.
has said.
He hasn't even asked the question.
Stop fucking being outraged on this guy's behalf. Anybody in this, I think the guy on the far right here, I don't know who that is. He's probably just embarrassed to be in the room, to be associated with this mess. I have no clue. Maybe he's a dumb fuck as well, and he isn't. But anybody walking into this room, if you're looking at this just like objectively, this whole interaction is dishonest. From the naming of the names, refusing to go into the specifics behind the names, immediately saying, "Oh, your reaction is an answer," when he starts to, say, "Hey, wait a second, before we smear all these people and drag their names out of the grave, let's take a moment to really consider that." Like, this whole interaction, start to finish, is dishonest.
You know what the question is?
Pick a name.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Reading
and you get to
list
answer
of people who
or
probably,
not answer.
And there are some of those people that had military titles in front of them, and you're dragging their name.
That's even the point.
You're dragging their name through
the point.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Because their families would want to know.
Because you've got to
shut up. Don't fucking make it about their family. You think their families are like, "Oh God, I'm so happy Mr. PBD podcast man started asking Anthony Weiner on the PBD podcast about my husband that died 20 years ago on whether that crackpot schizophrenic freak who wrote on a message board somewhere that my husband was killed by Hillary Clinton." I'm so happy that they're digging it up and they're finding the truth. You want to know the only family I know of that has reacted to this type of stuff? It was Seth Rich's family in reaction to the theories about Seth Rich getting murdered by Hillary Clinton. And you know what they had to say to Kim.com, who was digging up all this stuff? Shut the fuck up. Stop dragging our dead son's name through the mud. Now, he cannot speak on their behalf without having communicated with these people. He has no clue if their families would want to know if Hillary Clinton's truly behind it. If Hillary Clinton was truly behind it, of course they would want to know. The only problem is there's zero evidence connecting Hillary Clinton to murdering any of these people.
Some of their families would want to know.
Some conspiracy theory podcast, some conspiracy theory that 9 people read. You find some guy that comes in, and then you go from Ron Brown to some obscure officer that used to protect Bill Clinton, who passed away. May he rest in peace for his service.
May all of them rest in peace.
And you are dragging them into some wacky conspiracy theory.
May all of them rest in peace. So here's the question for you, because millions of people are not convinced Hillary Clinton is a good person.
Yeah, millions of people also believe Stalin was like a cool dude. Millions of people also believe the Earth is flat. Millions of people believe all sorts of things.
Millions.
Like claim to popularity does not make anything true, or even like I mean, I guess worth comment to the point of like, yeah, no, that's nonsense. There's no evidence to that. But this guy is trying to cast this as if he's an investigative journalist trying to get deep into the dirt of Hillary murdering everyone. And he has nothing. He has absolutely nothing. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. It's like he went into this conversation blind outside of this one URL link.
Including myself, if you want to do that.
He didn't even look through the names and like sort them out to be like, oh, are all these cases legitimate? Maybe we should pick people from this list that we believe are more suspicious and bring these names towards him. No.
Put the questions in your own. Don't try to make it about some bozo who put up a website. Put in your own words.
Here's a question for you, Guy. It's a very simple question for you. So how is it when you think about other candidates, okay, everybody has a stereotype. You have a reputation whether you like it or not. What's your reputation? Your reputation is you like to text underage girls and you like to talk to girls and you sex sending pictures of your dangling. That's your reputation.
There's no way to win as Anthony Weiner, because like no matter what, everybody can fall back on that. Like Anthony Weiner could have just been like, no, 2, dude, it's 2 + 2 = 4. Obviously it equals 4. Like, yeah, you tried to text underage girl. Well, you lose. Like, again, this is why if I was him, I would never go back into public service, you know? I would never go into back in public service. I would never go back to the public eye. Because how do you ever run away from this? You can't. You can't run away from this.
Whatever you do, you can't do anything about it. Adam has a reputation. Adam is a playboy in Miami.
You better get back to that list of strangers you read a list
Trust me, I'm getting back to it. Tom's got a reputation. His reputation is a man who
And right now, your reputation is listing strangers who served in the military and dragging their name through the
I have a reputation to ask tough questions and piss some people like you off. That's my
Oh, that's his reputation? I don't know, man. That's not the reputation he's building right now to me.
Including dead people who I'm going to stand up for.
Oh, trust me, we are standing up for them more than you are standing up for them.
Let's see. You better.
Oh, but yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm sure all of the families of the deceased are going to be sending him love letters, thinking like, "Thank you so much. You've unveiled it by listing their names off next to a bunch of other random people. You've proven that they were killed by Hillary." Very brave. They all very much appreciate it. You brave hero in shining armor.
We're going to get back to that list because we're going to clear some people's names today.
My question for you is, how is it that in the last 50 years, we don't have a single candidate? Everybody has their own. Hey, John F. K. was a playboy with Marilyn Monroe. Trump, Karen McDougal, Stormy Daniels. You know, George Bush linked to 9/11 and weapons of mass destruction. Bill Clinton linked to Arkansas women, all this others. Everybody has a reputation. How is it that the reputation that follows them as people close to them die? Why is that this
is such a stupid question. How do rumors start? I don't know why this. I think maybe it's because Hillary Clinton can sometimes be written as a pretty cold person, a pretty calculating person, and it's not hard to try to paint that woman as very kind of like soulless or psychopath. I think that's probably where it stemmed from, but we're just playing guesswork. But we could like do this with any candidate. How come no other presidential candidate, no other president was ever had a reputation of not being born in America than Obama with this whole Kenya stuff? Why is it that he had the Kenya reputation? Right? You could do this with any president. Like, why does this rumor around this president? Well, it just becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's what he's doing right now. The rumor in and of itself has become evidence that the rumor is true. What a very silly, uninteresting, stupid question. This isn't journalism. This is, I can't believe it, a smear job on Hillary and Anthony Weiner, people who both have amazingly good and valid critiques you could make of them, but this is the stuff you devolve into instead. It's honestly embarrassing on his behalf.
Story that many people believe in. Why is that?
Are the Clintons in their 70s yet? You don't think I can make a list of other people who are 70-something years old and say this person died, that person died, this person died? Hold on.
How come they haven't done that with Bush? He's in the same age.
I have no freaking idea why they haven't.
How come they haven't done that?
Why did a rumor start with your person and not this other person? That proves that the rumor's true. Evidence.
Hold on a second. But so are you saying? So you agree with what I'm saying?
How come they haven't done that with Reagan?
So
how come they haven't done that with Kerry?
What point are you making?
What a fucking stupid person. Oh God, and he's popular too, man. God, I have very little faith in humans.
About these men and women who you listed.
How is it so many people close to them die? How is it so many people close to them
everybody dies?
How is
are you suggesting? Okay.
I'm asking the question.
You're asking a bizarre question.
Exactly.
Did people die?
Off.
Did people die? No. What pisses me off, and I'm going to say this again because you apparently are not listening to me. You read a list of people off an obscure website that of conspiracy theory, taking a Venn diagram of everyone that ever worked in the orbit of someone who served in public life for 50 years, and you listed them, including people in the military, including strangers you could not pull out of and you are implying that there's something nefarious. Let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought.
Please do so, because I got another source coming in here for you.
You're implying both with the question and with the website. The website says it explicitly. You're implying it. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
You're implying that something. You're implying
until he's done.
Jesus Christ, he doesn't know how to shut up.
Go for it.
You are implying that something nefarious is afoot both with the question and with the list. Hillary Clinton, she's a big girl. I'm a big boy, you're a big boy. The people that you just listed,
They're all.
listen to me. No, these are obscure people that you could not pull out.
Great politician, buddy.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Fantastic.
You know what?
Dude, he fucking loves the sound of his own voice. He can't. Why host a podcast and invite on guests if your main mission and your main objective is to stop them from talking?
You are the classic bully. You list someone's name. Are you going to go back and clarify?
Anybody that's the
Are
bully,
you going to go clarify?
You know what the qualities of your personality is. You want to really know that.
Ad hominem attack on me is going to somehow clear that person's name?
There isn't anybody at this table that's a bigger bully than you.
I tell you. Oh, yeah? You just listed some stranger with PFC.
Very good deceptive way of pinning. Good
Look
for
at
you guys.
You're reading some.
Good for you.
You're reading a conspiracy website.
Good
and
for you.
Some people say.
Yeah.
Some people say.
I really, he's actually Anthony Weiner. Oh God, and that's a good point. I hate it when people like. Some people are saying sometimes you have to actually ask a question that way because you genuinely don't believe it. But you can tell from the way he's interacting here that he genuinely believes it, but also is trying to create a level of separation between him and the question, which I don't like. If you believe the question or you believe the thing, just say it. If it's something that somebody else genuinely believes and you don't, then put it that way. But that's not the way he put it. He wanted to create a barrier of separation between what he was saying and the consequences of what he was saying, or like actually having to believe in what he was saying and attack and defend the position because it's an indefensible position.
The Wikipedia
Look at that fucking
Rob
website.
I just sent to you. Pull up the Wikipedia. Is Wikipedia a conspiracy website?
You want to take?
No.
You want to take a run at me? Bring it all day, pal.
Hey,
bring it all day.
Sweetheart.
Take a run at me.
Clinton body count.
Conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
right at the top. Wait, can I throw a mic I can drop? Conspiracy, right at the top.
What's the point with that?
The point is conspiracy theories are by their very definition unsubstantiated.
How come other people don't have this conspiracy theory? How come Reagan doesn't have this conspiracy theory?
Oh, wait a minute.
How come Bush doesn't have this conspiracy theory?
On the PDB podcast,
How come John Kerry doesn't have this conspiracy theory?
Oh, wow, really?
Why do they, though? Some of the stereotypes are true. Like, you have some reputation. It's true.
Like there's reputation. The reputation can come from, for example, why did Obama have the not born in America thing? Because he was black, right? That's why. He was a brown president, and so they didn't want him to be born in America, so they did everything they could to try to paint it as if Barack Obama was not born in America. As simple as that. The rumor can come from something as stupid as that. And Hillary Clinton, pretty cold, calculated politician, could come from that. I mean, Hillary Clinton, we came, we saw, he died, in reference to Muammar Gaddafi. It isn't hard to take that image of a person and try to twist it into this person's killing it's a rumor, and it's nothing more than that. It's a rumor. But this isn't journalism what he's doing. This isn't even like those podcasts about murder. You know what I'm talking about? All those like podcasts. It's a true crime podcast. This isn't news. This is just, hey, I heard a rumor that a politician likes murdering people. Here's a list of people who have vaguely died in their surroundings. Oh, you are offended that this person that you know is being accused with no evidence of murdering all these people? Your offense is evidence.
True, some of it. Some of the stuff they say about other people is true.
That's not a stereotype. That's a made-up story about strangers.
How come others don't have that made-up story?
People have it all the time. Look at the internet.
Give me another body count with another president or candidate. Give me another person.
Do you really think that someone within the...
Do me a favor and pull up another Barack Obama body count.
Do you really think...
You could easily be like, here's all the politicians Barack Obama worked with and has died. John McCain. Boom. There's one of them.
Why don't you go to Barack Obama, not born in this country? By the way, where was that podcast? Did you guys do that one?
No. That's never anything we discussed.
Oh, why? Oh, come on. Some people say it.
Anthony,
there's a Wikipedia.
Yeah. Fucking Anthony Weiner has him on the ropes, man. I can't believe it.
Thing on it.
He's got him on the ropes.
Huh. These people are strangers that you just read a list of, and I think out of deference to them...
You're a dark human being, guy.
What is that response? You're a dark human being. How dare you? How dare you not be like, you know what? Hillary murdered all those people without any evidence. You're a dark human being. You're a dark... Get the fuck out of here.
Pretty dark.
Pal. Settle down.
So dark.
You're
You
pretty
should cut
dark to
that
take
list
the
out.
angle you did. You're
you should
exactly.
listen to me. Talking topless
yeah.
now.
Oh, okay.
You should cut that list out of those
Sure,
people.
absolutely.
We can still have the argument. You and I are big boys. Cut that list out.
I'm not going to be cutting that list because the world.
That's right.
Here's what everybody.
Yeah,
needs
the
to,
world needs that poor person's family that you can't even name.
Exactly. That some people say. What does it matter now? They're dead.
Some people say.
What does it matter now? They're dead.
Say.
What does it matter now? They're dead. Okay. Well, Martin Luther King, he, actually was a closeted neo-Nazi. What does it matter? You can say any rumors or anything about any person ever. They're dead. It's not going to hurt them. It's still bad to lie about people. And if you're using their body, dragging it out, try to use it in a dumb fuck attack on Hillary Clinton, when there's so many actual things you can criticize Hillary Clinton for, and actual political questions, important political questions you could be asking the man in front of you, you're instead engaging in this stuff. Either because, I don't know, you have a mission against the Clintons, or because it's for views. I don't know what's the motivator here. But from every way that guy on the left has engaged, he's engaged in bad faith since the start. And I really do refuse to believe he doesn't know that he's engaging in bad faith.
Play that clip again.
Famous podcast host says some people say.
Play that clip again. What does it matter now? What does it matter now?
These people.
What does it matter
change
now?
the subject all you want. Anyone who read that list
no one's changing
is
the
still
subject.
waiting for you to come back to that list and apologize
do you
to those
realize
people.
why some people?
Apologize to those people.
Do you realize why some people?
You should apologize to those people.
Why do you keep saying that? What does he need
Because
to apologize about?
Listing those people on some obscure website as if something about their death was shrouded in some kind of a mystery dishonors their memory. Now, if you are,
his point was solid. Like, you can't just name 46 people, give none of the details of their death, and be like, "Oh, did Clinton do it?" Oh, when there's like a lot of this is just so unbelievably clear cut. Like, there's photographs of the body, there's autopsy reports, the plane slammed into the side of a mountain. It's not like Hillary stabbed him, right? Like, it's clear cut. And dragging their names out, giving none of the details, not knowing who half of them are probably, yeah, it is pretty disrespectful to them. It is absolutely disrespectful. If I came up to somebody and said, "Your grandmother, your Meemaw that just died, she was actually done in by my neighbor Jeff, who I have a grudge with. It was Jeff who did it." It would make sense for somebody to be like, "No, stop spreading that rumor. That's nonsense." This is how the family of Seth Rich got harassed, is because they're like, "No, there's no evidence that my son was killed by Hillary Clinton." And then they told people at Kim.com to stop spreading those rumors, and they refused to, even out of respect for the family of Seth Rich, who are the people still alive suffering the most from Seth Rich's death, and they wouldn't stop. And that's why he's angry.
Or Hillary Clinton if you are Hillary Clinton or Anthony Weiner, that may sound fine. If you are some person who has one of these jackasses on the internet showing up at their doorstep saying, "Tell me about the death of your father. How did Hillary Clinton?" We had someone walk into a pizzeria in Washington with a gun because of assholes like this.
I've heard that phrase before by other people. Play it again. Play it again. I've heard this phrase a couple times.
Oh, by the way, what's the whole Benghazi? Let's do the whole Benghazi.
No, it's the phrase.
The fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night and decided to go kill some Americans?
You disagree with her point here?
Difference at
Play
this
that again.
point
Play that
doesn't
three times.
make.
Disagree with?
What does this have to do with? Why? What does this have to? Oh my God! This has nothing to do with the points he's making. There's no grounding. There's no evidence behind any of the stuff he's bringing forward. He didn't present any evidence because there wasn't any evidence. And if there was evidence, he would have presented it. Unless he literally did zero research into it, which, I mean, I'm starting to lean towards. Manic Shade, thank you so much for the primer. I appreciate this. God bless America with happiness and health. Amen.
Play that from the 10-second mark, not from that mark.
Play it from the 1 second mark so we really get context.
Right there. Go play it right there.
Play it from the 1/10 of a second
some
mark.
Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
That's what you sound like.
Let's hear it.
What a script. You're duplicating it very well.
Let's hear.
Nothing he's saying has relatively, like, I can't even imagine, has nothing to do with what Hillary said here. There's no relation between what's being discussed. Nothing. There's zero relation. I don't even know what he's referring to. You sound like her. What?
You're duplicating that script very well.
By the way, do you disagree with her point?
Of course I do.
You do?
Of course I do.
That it matters whether it was a protest that came from Libya to that family.
Do you know?
To that family. And by the way, do you know why she cleaned the Republicans' clock in that hearing? Because she talked about how many times.
She cleaned the clock? She ain't a president, guy. That's cleaning the clock. The American people cleaned her clock.
No, in the Benghazi hearing.
Dude, he's just so he's so angry. He can't even, I don't even think he can talk anymore. The host of this is so fucking outraged and so mad for no good reason, by the way, right? The only person in this conversation that has any reason to be mad is Anthony Weiner. He's mad for no reason. He's like trying to be like, well, here's why I think he did well in the hearings. How dare you say she will, America fucked Hillary. He fucked, like he's mad. He can't even like contain himself.
From Libya to that family.
Do you know
to that family? And by the way, do you know why she cleaned the Republicans' clock in that hearing? Because she talked about how many times.
The clock? She ain't a president, guy. That's cleaning the clock. The American people cleaned her.
See, even like Anthony, look out, Anthony Weiner's look at him. I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? He can't even like engage in a back and forth anymore. Which is kind of important on a podcast.
Her clock.
No, in the Benghazi hearing.
Yeah.
Focus.
Why do you think she's
he's focused?
not a president?
Focus.
Why do you think she's not a
Benghazi
president?
hearing.
The American people
You bring
cleaned
up
her
a
clock.
clip and then you want to change it to 2000.
No,
Let's talk about that clip
what
for a
she did
second.
to the-
I remember earlier he said, "Hey, nobody's pivoting, nobody's changing topics." Now that he knows a tiny shred of information about Benghazi, now we need to get off of it.
Republicans. So going back to it, here's what you're doing right now, which is fantastic.
See, we've already pivoted off of it. He tried to like focus on it for like a millisecond, and he stopped him. Dude, it's so dishonest, man.
You just
you don't
influenced
believe that, do
a
you?
lot of people to go do their own due diligence. You just influence a lot of people to go do their own due diligence.
You can find
Go
utter
do it.
dirt. No, you did
Find
that,
out
pal.
for yourself. No.
I saw what you did by listing the conspiracy theories you're not going to ask about.
I'm not
I
gonna
saw
ask
what you
about
did.
those things.
I'm sorry, that was
Yeah,
dishonorable.
that's which part's dishonorable?
The list of conspiracy theory you know is bullshit, but still putting it out
but
there.
This thing, there's a lot of
I think
credibility sources
people
behind
want
this.
bullshit's not true.
So
Look-
name any of the credit. There's a lot of credibility sources. I don't even know what is even talk. I don't even know what that means. But then show that. Don't just name a bunch of random names. Show the evidence. There's a bunch of sources. Then show the sources. He hasn't shown any evidence. He just read a bunch of random names.
Look at what you had to cite. Cite any media that you would ever read in your day-to-day life for that. Cite anything. Go call one of those people.
still can't answer questions,
Have
can
one of
you?
your producers. No, you make a point now. I'm responding to it. Have one of your producers call up one of those families and tell them if they want to be listed in one of these conspiracy podcasts.
You're so sweet for saying that.
He is. Yes, true. Based. First true thing he said the whole time.
You're so sweet for playing this deceptive game. I gotta
Deceptive. Yeah, he's trying to cover up the truth of Hillary's kill list. Anthony Weiner. He needs to protect his political reputation.
From watching you for
Have
the
you
last,
do that?
I got to tell you.
I know this is not what you're used to, man. I'm sorry. It's funny. I texted with someone. Should I give them what they're used to, or should I, whatever? And they said just whatever.
You know how I knew who you were the moment you walked here. You know how I knew who you were when you walked here?
Because you invited him and he's your guest. I assume that's how you knew who he was.
I agree with you, man.
Let me tell you.
We have too much of this.
No. Let me tell you who you are, guy. Here's who you are.
This is good media. You're getting good content.
Okay, so this is where he gets the grandstand and be like, Anthony Weiner, you're gross. Like, why debate somebody on you can't even debate or like this is why I wouldn't like invite. Like, there's a lot of people that I disagree with so much or hate so much that I couldn't invite them on my show because I know I couldn't actually like engage with them without being like, yo, you should die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I was to have Putin on my show, I'd probably be a terrible interviewer for Putin. I would probably be the worst interviewer in the world for Putin. Because I'd be like, man, Putin, you want to play Russian roulette with yourself continuously until you win? Or, I guess, lose?
This is who you are. You walk up here and you said, what's your name?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
No. You said, what's your name? And then you say, I call my friends to say, should I give these guys this? You know the name, you know the show, but you're
No. I was trying to find if you use your whole first name.
Like, hey, so it's like the player,
I apologize.
Like, what's your name? Because
I apologize.
You're above everybody else as an elitist.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. It feels like what's the dude's name on the left? It just feels like he's like super self-conscious. He's now like he's taken like an interaction they had before the show where Anthony Weiner asked him what his name was, and now he's like bringing that up to be like that was like a power play to like try to make me feel like, dude, I'm oh my god, dog. This is a pretty sad existence.
pushing you off as an
I
elitist
didn't
from
know
the
if
first
you
second,
used.
and I was willing to give you a fair shake.
I apologize.
You walked off as an asshole, and
No,
then
no,
boom,
no.
that's what you're
I
getting.
apologize. I
Yeah.
apologize. I didn't know if you used the shortened version of your name. I should have researched that and
No,
listened
you
to how
didn't
other
say
people do
that.
it.
You said, "What's your name?"
I know, but to see if you would give me a hint about what you said.
And then
People
when
do it with me when I do Tony or
I got
Anthony.
a good memory
I
like you do,
apologize.
guy.
No, it can't be. Anthony Weiner like wanted to know how to say your name when he asked, "What's your name?" off camera. To what audience would he be performing to? I don't know. It must be a deliberate tactic by Anthony Weiner, the person's covering up all the Clinton murders, to make me feel lesser as the big bad podcast host.
You said, "What's your name?"
apologize.
I said Patrick. Then you ask, "Do you prefer Pat or Patrick?" If you
I
knew
was
my
trying
name
to
is
be-
Pat.
Wait. So you know it was about your name length because he immediately asked about your name length.
Patrick, you would have eliminated one of the questions and you would have asked. So the point is,
He was trying to ask it in a roundabout way. That's it. Oh my God, man. So now he understands that this dude's just conspiratorially minded. He needs to look for like puzzles where there aren't any.
and by the way,
I was
here's
hoping
the part.
you'd identify yourself.
I identify
you're
myself
right. I
as a
apologize.
male, as a father, as an entrepreneur.
I
But to
apologize.
Go back to your question.
Oh my God, dog. Come on.
I apologize. You
He's so mightier than thou.
accept my amends?
From
I apologize.
Sure,
for
I
that.
respect
I
the game.
apologize for that.
But the point I'm making to you is if you come in like that and I'm asking you
Anthony Weiner shouldn't have apologized. He should have doubled down. He should have started getting his name wrong purposely.
a question, you react
You're
the way
reading
you
too
do.
much into it. You're reading too much. I apologize for that. That was socially wrong
Yeah.
of me to do. I was trying to learn whether you go by Pat or Patrick. I apologize. I could have asked one of your men. I could have asked people. I apologize for that.
Anthony,
and
when you-
I hope you accept my amends for that.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one,
No, I don't. Fuck you. I'm done. Oh my God. What a shit journalist.